Both Jasmy and XLM have been pumping recently, and I believe that they're ahead of the rest of the crypto market in the market cycle right now, which means that they could be moving into a bull market, a full-blown bull market, before you even expect it. So I don't want to miss out on this opportunity, and I don't want you guys to miss out either. So do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get into XLM and Jasmy. So guys, I believe that the Bitcoin bull market has started and been confirmed by this particular move that happened just a couple of days ago as we moved beyond 30k and appeared to be holding. I do think that we are going to be pushing much higher for Bitcoin. Later on today, we've got the CPI news, which is essential pretty much to the growth of crypto because it affects the US dollar. Whatever happens in the US dollar is very important. Now, I've already talked about Stellar a lot on this channel because of the importance of cross-border payments. This is a crypto for the people, and I think Jasmy also is a crypto for the people, and that's why I've kind of grouped them together in this particular video. Now, if you're around the world right now or watching the news, you'll understand that lots of different countries have got problems with payment solutions. It's very difficult for them to move one currency into another currency because of the rules and regulations in the particular country they live in. This makes it very difficult, and if you're complaining about inflation right now in the UK or the US, you have no idea about the levels of inflation that go on in other parts of the world, where people are basically being financially crippled, where corrupt governments printing more and more money and basically taking all the value away from people's savings right now. So it's essential that they have an opportunity to be able to move money into other currencies. Stellar provides a network for storage as well as moving money. And whilst it's not necessarily the quickest method out there for moving money, it potentially has the power in the future to replace things like Swift, where trillions of dollars throughout the year are moved between different countries. This is extremely expensive, but we will for a while continue to need fiat currency. And that's why Stellar Lumens is such a valuable asset for us, because it allows us to trade digital representations of currencies that we already hold, whether that be GBP, US dollar, pesos, Bitcoin, whatever it is. We can transfer money across using the Stellar Lumens network, and that is extremely powerful for us. Before we look at the chart for Stellar Lumens, let's just take a look at coin market cap. Currently, you can see that we are sat at $2.8 billion. That's not a small market cap, so whether we will see 1000x's, pretty confident we're not going to be seeing 1000x's right now in Stellar Lumens. Who knows in the future whether there's potential to or not, but we're looking at the next year to 2 years right now. And as I look into this XLM chart, it looks very positive. Now, we did break beyond this sort of falling wedge pattern here, which is good to see. And what we have now done is start to come back to retest this as support. And what we can see that's happened in the last day or so is we have put in these wicks towards the downside. This shows me good buying pressure in the market, and it does indicate that we are potentially ready for another leg up. I will be looking for another leg up into the next zone on this chart, which I believe sits around here. You can see that in the past we found solid resistance coming in at this level. So from where we're currently sat on XLM to that level, you're looking at a 26% increase, which is not to be sniffed at. And then there's a few other levels along the way. But really zooming out an XLM chart, we've got so much more ahead of us. From current levels back to this swing high that we saw back in 2021, you got a 7x, which is again incredible. But I think realistically, XLM could be pushing towards 2, maybe even in an insane bull market, $3. If we see XLM heading to $3, then you've got yourself a 28x. That means $100 will turn into $2,800. $1,000, $28,000. Now we're talking, guys. This can see insane growth. Obviously, it's not financial advice. It's not guaranteed. You need to go away and do your own research and understand the problems with cross-border payments, understand the problems with Swift payments and all the expenses that incurred by using those particular payment systems, and then see how XLM is going to completely change the game for people living around the world, particularly now when people are now freely starting to travel more, starting to work in different locations. Given the rise of the internet and how easy it is now to work online, I think more and more people are going to be moving away from places like the UK, where gas prices are insanely expensive right now, to live in places better set up for the digital nomad. Now, also, I want to talk about Jasmy. Only got put on my radar sort of earlier on this year, and I didn't know much about it, to be honest, but I've now started to research more. And whilst it surrounds probably not the most glamorous and exciting topic ever in decentralized data, is absolutely essential if you understand where we're progressing from Web 2 into a Web 3 environment. As we move from Web 2 into Web 3, you're going to see basically everything becoming decentralized. And there is therefore a requirement for people to still be able to process data. Now you're probably wondering, well, what is data? Like, well, every day when you're using the internet, when you're doing different things with your mobile phone, you're producing data, and that data is used by the likes of Google, by the likes of Amazon to promote you new products, but also to improve the services and things that you are receiving. Now, whether you like it or not, that data is going to get taken away from you and used, and you don't really get rewarded at all for that data usage. But if you look into this image on the Jasmy website, you will understand a little bit more about what it is. So you consume data, okay, and basically you produce data as well at the same time. But what you're going to be able to do is then start to benefit from your data. You're going to be able to have limits on the data you produce and how people are using that data. And also you're going to get rewarded for providing data back to the network in Jasmy token. And unlike now, where the data you produce is not anonymous, everyone knows what you're doing all the time, whether you like it or not. You will produce data for Jasmy, but it will be created in a way that it's completely anonymous to you. No one knows who it's come from, but they have the data, which enables them to then provide better services to the general network. And this all happens through the secure knowledge communicator that happens here. The merchant themselves will then have to pay for the data, and they do that already through Google Cloud Services and various others. And you, the consumer, will then be receiving a digital currency, which is the Jasmy Coin. More and more, we're going to be using IoT, which is Internet of Things. And this is a huge spectrum of sort of the modern development of business. Think of things like smart hotels, smart rentals of bicycles, smart rentals of everything that you can think of. And you're going to potentially be able to earn rewards in Jasmy tokens for doing this. It's a Japanese company, and in Japan, it's extremely difficult to get regulated by Japanese authorities when it comes to cryptocurrency, and the fact that Jasmy has been regulated does show us that it is here to stay and is already recognized as something that the world needs. It's billed as Japan's Bitcoin. Jasmy is a tokenized platform that champions democratization of data by combining blockchain and IoT technologies to provide an infrastructure that allows anyone to use data safely and securely. So that pretty much sums up Jasmy and why Jasmy and XLM are such valuable tools going forward to the average person, not just beneficial for businesses. And I like these projects because they're achieving something good for the world, something that I myself believe in and I think is really valuable to other people around the world as well. So not just that, but I also see potential for massive financial gain here by investing in these projects. So let's look at where Jasmy is right now. Currently sat with a market cap of $284 million, is much smaller than XLM, does something very different. It's not necessarily comparable on that front, but it does give us great upside potential. Now I want to show you something very cool. Actually, it's not very cool, but it's very important to understand this. Big data market size revenue forecast worldwide from 2011 to 2027. Look at this growth curve, guys. This is in billions of US dollars. And you can see by 2027, you're looking at $103 billion. Currently in 2023, and it's going to pretty much double by 2028. If you look at this growth spectrum. So now we've got two pieces of information. We know that the market is already booming and will continue to grow. And we know that with the development of Web 3, we're going to be moving away from centralized authorities, Web 2, towards a decentralized network, where these sorts of services are going to be absolutely essential to the way that it runs. If we look at Jasmy, we can see that in the last few days, we've been on an absolute tear towards the upside. We have had a little bit of a pullback right now. And the reason I wanted to show you XLM before I showed you Jasmy is we saw XLM has already broken through this. And we've seen something very similar to a number of different cryptos. One of them is also Solana right now, which I talked about on this video yesterday. It's well worth checking out. I'll link it towards the end of this video. And we basically have this cup and handle chart pattern, okay, which typically breaks towards the upside. And in terms of a price target for this, we take the height of the cup and then we move it to this area here, and you could see that that would see a Jasmy breakout all the way up to this level here, which would be around 100%. So in a very short space of time, we could be seeing 100% gains from Jasmy. And I want to show you basically the Jasmy chart. Now this huge wick up here, could be a bit confusing to be looking at right now, but let's just look up to the main body as our all-time swing high for Jasmy. And you will be looking at a 42x on the Jasmy price. Can Jasmy reach up to around 50 cents? I think that, again, if we're looking into insane bull markets, you may have no idea just how big some of these cryptos can get. Particularly as in a bear market right now, we're seeing these cryptos trending. XLM is one of them, Jasmy is another, HBAR, Gala. I think as well we're starting to see other ones like Crunch Network and various others, which we've been talking about in my Telegram group, which is free and linked down below. We're also going to do a competition this week, so make sure you're getting into that, guys. Absolute no-brainer if you want to learn more about crypto. I do think that it's not unreasonable that we could be pushing towards 50 cents with a incredible bull market for Jasmy, and that's a very exciting opportunity for me. Given the marketplace that it's in, The team is very solid. They have backgrounds in Sony and other huge brands. So to summarize, I'm looking at Jasmy and XLM because they are cryptos that are really going to help the average person going forward in ways that you probably don't even realize right now. And that is very exciting. They're also starting to trend heavily across the crypto marketplace, which means they have one, good marketing, and two, also very popular. They also have very passionate communities driving the engagement across the industry right now. We're starting to see them moving aggressively while the rest of the crypto market is still sitting fairly dormant, despite Bitcoin pumping towards the upside. And I think this is setting us up for a very exciting bull market, in my opinion. Let me know down below your thoughts on whether you think XLM and Jasmy are good investments, whether you hold them yourself, and what your price predictions for them are. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button. It really, really helps me out, and I thank you so much for doing that. If you're new to the channel, you want to learn more about coins like Jasmy, XLM, and so much more, then hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the very next video. Bye-bye.